Hey guys, thank you for joining me for another pick a topic. So we have our topics here. So I will pick a topic that I wrote months ago and do my best to speak before mind. So basically experimenting with my voice and, again, like I said, speaking before mind, before the mind can step in and tell me what to say and what I shouldn't say and all that kind of stuff. And hopefully something, I say something of value or interest to you because you're here watching it. So, let's make it worth your while. Okay, the Open G Center. Okay, the Open G Center. So thanks for joining me here at Manifestor Uncensored, by the way. And please, 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 if you have ideas for topics, they could be human design. They don't have to be human design. They could be anything. Just let me know. And if it's something I can speak on, I'd love to give it a shot. All right. Yeah, I would appreciate that. Thank you. So anyway, open or undefined G center. So the G center, the diamond in the middle of the chart, also known as the self center or the identity center. So I have, as you probably suspected from the topic, an undefined G center. I do have a number of gates that hang off the G center. The 10, the 1, the 13, is that it? I think that's it. Wow, okay. I think that's it. I thought there were more, but I do have, I guess, other gates pointing at the G center, so that's probably why I'm thinking that. But anyway, so the G center, the center of love and direction. And yeah, with the gate 10 as a hanging, or what I prefer to say dormant gate, because I don't have consistent access to it, because it is in an undefined center. So personally, I prefer to call it dormant, but ironically, just like recently, Karen Curry Parker came out saying nothing is dormant or whatever. And I totally get what she's saying. I'm not saying she's wrong about it or anything, but for me, I like to differentiate between my hanging gates that are active and consistent and my hanging gates that are dormant and that are inconsistent, that need to be activated by someone else or a transit, right? Because I do experience those differently. So, I have what I would call dormant gates. And the gate 10, for example, related to self-love. And it's interesting because I would say that I quote unquote struggled. I mean, struggled is kind of a strong word for it, but with self-love at times. But it's interesting. It's kind of like, maybe I didn't love myself at times, but with my defined will center, I definitely felt worthy, I didn't feel worthless and that kind of stuff. So it's interesting. It's interesting. It's really kind of difficult to talk about one part of the chart once you really, really get involved and in deep in your experience with human design. I find it more difficult to just talk about one aspect of my design or anyone else's design without including others. So even though, yeah, I've experienced that, I can't stand myself kind of thing, but yet I can. You know what I mean? It's interesting. But anyway, with my experience with the undefined G center, yes, maybe feeling like inconsistent self-love, yes, but definitely 1,000% no consistent direction. no consistent identity. And, it's not one of my open centers that dogs me as much as some of the others, I will say. But if I'm really, really honest and really paying attention, I still catch myself almost like defining myself this way or defining myself that way, just in my head. It's not even like I'm walking around saying, well, I'm a this and I do that and this is who I am. And it's not even that. I mean, maybe I do. I don't even know. Yeah, I don't know. If I'm saying that kind of stuff, where I'm truly like giving myself a consistent identity, I'm actually unaware of it. But I do catch myself sometimes thinking of myself as this or that or whatever. And it's like, but no, because the next minute it changes. So it's kind of like you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay not having a specific, consistent identity that just, and that stays with you, or a consistent path that you walk. And, sometimes you might find that you might be good at acting or, imitating people or things like that. You might find that when you're with one person, you speak one way. When you're with another person, you speak another. And I used to catch that about myself, and I used to hate it. I used to think, what is wrong with me? Why do I act differently with different people? I should just be myself. But that's the thing. I don't have a consistent self. I don't have a consistent self. Myself is going to naturally take in the self of the other and, potentially amplify it, or at least mirror it. So it's very easy to get like annoyed with yourself, like that you're not being true to who you really are. But the thing is, who are you really? It changes. You don't have a set identity. And knowing that is definitely freeing, right? I mean, getting to know your design and really, really getting to know it, when it becomes more of an experience and less of a mental knowing. Well, mentally, even at first, you can kind of give yourself permission to get off your own back. Like it, actually mentally knowing it at the beginning is what, as you move forward, as you continue to experience and experiment, that's when you start to like feel it and embody it and recognize it. But even when you just mentally know it, if you are someone with an undefined G center, just, give yourself permission to be whoever you are in the situation, the environment, with the people, the different people. Don't come down on yourself for not being you and being true to yourself and sticking to your own identity. Why am I being like this person when, but having said that though, be aware. Okay. There is, a caveat here, right? Yes, allow yourself to play other roles, right? And maybe speak differently and act differently, right? Be okay with that, yes. But don't make decisions from that place, because that is not who you are. Like if you are with someone and you are taking in their identity, that's not a time to make a decision about something in your life, especially something, important and something that's a big deal, right? Like I have a very basic example. See, I personally like the mundane, basic examples because, most of my life is, and is, I think everyone's life is about the ordinary, the mundane, the everyday, right? So, okay, we can talk about the big decisions, but what about the everyday stuff? I like examples of that. So here's one example. We were vacationing with some dear friends, and we came upon someone selling thumb rings. And, you know, the friend that I was with, one of the friends I was with, she likes jewelry and stuff like that. And, you know, that's who she is. And then I found myself like being like, oh yeah, I want one too. And they were like $10. So who cares, right? You know, I'm not one to waste money, but like, you know, it wouldn't have been a big deal if I went through with it. But what happened was, it was interesting. I guess I think I was less than a year into my experiment. So I'm surprised that I realized this. Yes, it was. I was about 10 months into my experiment, because I think this was October of 2019. So I'm surprised I even caught this, but I'm sitting there getting fitted for a thumb ring, and it was really cool. I really liked the design and everything. I did like it, but I almost never wear jewelry. I do wear earrings sometimes, but like I usually wear the same ones all the time. I just leave them right out of my dresser. I stick them in and that's it. But like, I hardly ever wear jewelry. Like, I mean, I need to make a conscious decision to wear it. It's not something that I naturally do. So I'm sitting there getting fitted for this, and, you know, it's like having a hard time going over my thumb, and they're wanting me to take the smaller size. And I'm like, no, it's uncomfortable. It's going over my thumb. Like, I don't like it. Let me try the bigger one. And they're saying, they're saying, no, it's too loose. No, that's the wrong size. You want the other size. And I'm like, yeah, no, but I don't like the way that feels. It feels too tight. It'll be uncomfortable. I'll never wear it. Let me try the other one. And they were insisting that I get the other side. And then it occurred to me, like, wait a minute. This isn't for me. I'm probably never going to wear this thing. And it wouldn't have been a big deal because it was, you know, a basic little, you know, $10 ring at a little stand and, you know, in Savannah. But like, I was, you know, amplifying my friend's identity. This is who she is. And she is actually a self-projected projector. I mean, her G center gives her inner authority. So, so this is someone with one channel, and that's it gives her inner authority, right? So this is who she is. It's not who I am, you know? And so I caught myself and I'm like, oh my God, yeah, this is me taking in my friend's identity. And so I was like, all right, never mind. I don't want this ring. And, you know, thank you anyway. And, you know, and I was like, wow, that's really cool to see that, you know? And, you know, I was telling my friend about it and she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I said, no, it's not your fault. It's not my fault. It's just the way it is. It's just the mechanics of it, you know, and, you know, she's not into human design. So, you know, and still I was new at the time anyway. And, you know, so anyway, it was just funny. I just think that's a really good example of me trying to take on someone else's identity and seeing how it doesn't even work out, right? I didn't even, you know, I was like, oh, forget it. This isn't for me, you know, and I realized it. So I was having a hard time even buying this silly little ring when I was making decisions from someone else's identity, if that makes sense. So, yeah, I guess that is probably it. It's just like a little basic story about how you might take in somebody else's identity and make a decision from it. And the nice thing about it is that it was just a very basic example and not one where I made this huge decision, like I made an investment in something that she is into and she wants to do. And oh, and now when I'm with her, I want to do that too. And then when I'm out of her aura, all of a sudden I don't want to do that anymore. Now I made this big investment. That's where it can, be a big deal, right? So just be aware that it's okay for you to take in other people's identities and kind of like wear them and walk around in them for a little while, but just be aware of it. Be aware of it and don't make decisions from it, and especially big decisions, okay? So that is it, I think, for now on the Open G Center. I'm sure there is more I could say on this topic, but I think that's all that's coming to me for now. And that's it. So thanks for joining me here at Manifestor Uncensored. If you have topics, please put them below in the comments. And that's it. Thanks for joining me. Bye for now.